And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Diego Maguino, who writes, I loved the first Quiet Place movie. Dude, that was like my movie of the year. That was my favorite movie of the year that it came out. I love the first Quiet Place movie, so I'm very excited about the sequel. Unsurprisingly, the movie has been delayed to September of 2021. I know you also love the first film, so what are your thoughts? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. Appreciate it. And yes, A Quiet Place, the year came, what was it, 2017, I think was the year it came out? It was my number one film of the year. A Quiet Place was my number one favorite film of the year. It caught me so delightfully by surprise. I couldn't believe the job that John Krasinski did with it. And yes, obviously this was a movie that was supposed to come out last year. It hasn't come out, and that's understandable. And unsurprisingly, we just found out it moved. We've been expecting it to move because of where it was supposed to fall. And now it seems to have found a pretty good date in September. This comes to us from Variety, who writes, Paramount's post-apocalyptic thriller, directed by John Krasinski and starring Emily Blunt, his wife, has been postponed for a third time. It will now open in theaters on September 17th. A Quiet Place 2 was initially slated to release last March, but those plans were abandoned in the 11th hour as the health crisis first started to grip the United States. It was most recently moved to April 23rd. However, that date recently started to look unlikely, considering the coronavirus cases still on the rise. All right, that comes to us, of course, from the folks at Variety. And again, this part of it really comes as no surprise, because we've been saying on this show recently that I have the most optimistic outlook. And I think under the most optimistic, idealistic scenarios, we see maybe mid to late May having some, maybe being more feasible, probably more realistic June, July, maybe even a little bit later than that. So movies that were supposed to come out in, March or April, not surprised they're getting moved. So that's fine. September seems like a really good date for a movie like this. I think this is an exceptional date that they have set up for it. And I think that's going to work. I think it's going to be wonderful, all that kind of stuff. Now, let's focus just on A Quiet Place 2 for a second, because we haven't done this in a while. I am so fascinated. There are a lot of movies that get made, Rob, that don't need a sequel. And certainly I could make the argument that no movie in the history of Hollywood has ever needed to be made.
Right.
But I have been fascinated with this one because they talk about this global event, right? That happens. These creatures come, blah, blah, but they really just tell it from the perspective of this one family. There is so much story to be told here. What brought this on? How did it begin? How does it resolve? How does different parts of the world? I mean, there's just a lot of stories that could be told within this world. And with the job that John Krasinski did on the first one, sign me up for the second. So I'm incredibly excited about this. So yeah, not surprised they moved the date. We had been expecting it. I like September as a release date for it. I do think they're going to be able to make that date. Especially, Rob, I don't know have you seen in the news? I should bring this up. I put this out on Twitter yesterday. Did you see what like the Miami Heat are doing now for their games and everything? Did you see my tweet about this?
No.
So the Miami Heat apparently are doing something what the Super Bowl is also going to be doing, which is the Miami Heat have started using coronavirus sniffing dogs. And they have the dogs go through the line, and if you don't have coronavirus, they walk right by you. If they come to somebody who does have it, they sit in front of them. And then they remove the person out. And which university, one of the bigger university schools of medicine did a research thing on this, and they found it to be 94% accurate.
Wow.
94% accurate. These dogs. And apparently they're going to use this at the Super Bowl where they're saying they're going to have 22,000 people. Anyway, that's a side issue. Rob, let me ask you this. Quiet Place 2 was supposed to come out a long time ago. Now we've got a new release date, September. I think it's pretty solid there. I mean, you never know. Everything changes day by day. But at this point, with a movie that was supposed to come out that long ago, are you still excited for A Quiet Place 2? And should the rest of the audience be at this point?
Dude, that trailer was both those trailers were dope. I mean, it looks like it's going to be great. For me, it always comes down to my go-to position is I want every movie to be great. Now, I'm not naive, and it's not like I'm some kumbaya, oh, movies are great. I really want all movies to be great. I really do. But the whole thing to me is a good story and is a good characters, because, you know, sometimes your sequels are The Empire Strikes Back, you know, and for those of you who don't quite get that, what I'm saying is that they turn out to be really, really good and accentuate the original. And looking at the trailer for A Quiet Place 2, I'm like, well, this looks really cool. Like, you know, I'm in, and I want it to be good. And I think, look, you know, it's how long was there between Terminator came out in 84 and Terminator 2 came out in 91? You know, if it's good and there's a good idea, I'll wait. Good things come to those who wait, John.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, too, we've been hearing about some other films being bumped to like 2022. So if this thing, I mean, we knew being in April, it was going to get bumped again being in April. I'm just very thankful it only got pushed to September. So I'm very excited about that. Question is for you guys. What do you think about A Quiet Place 2 now getting a new release date, not terribly far off? It's going to now be in September. Are you still excited about it? Or has your enthusiasm been wearing off because it's like, man, we've been waiting for this movie for so long. At some point, you got to have it come out, but it's coming in September. What do you guys think about that? Jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.